Hello, friends. I'm Ozan Kirpe. Weekly I was about to say weekly astrology. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the weekly tarot readings. As you know, on Sundays, we have tarot readings on our channel. I analyze the tarot readings for the upcoming week by interpreting the movements in the sky through the language of tarot, and I give warnings about what we need to do and what we need to pay attention to. I give warnings. Exactly. Now, the first thing I want to express is that from the analytics, from YouTube analytics, what I see is that outside of Turkey, it hasn't been fully understood yet, and people tend to watch just one sign and then leave the video. However, if you do it this way, you won't get much benefit. The right thing to do, if you want a complete analysis for the upcoming week, is to first analyze the commentary for your sun sign, your rising sign, and your moon sign, then combine them to form a whole and proceed that way. Otherwise, you won't get anywhere just with your sun sign and logic, because you also have emotional reactions. You also need to know what lies ahead in the coming period, because the sun only shows where your logic, where the source of your energy comes from. So, what will happen in the upcoming period? The energy will come from here. What will happen in the upcoming period? That's not clear. What kind of reactions might you have in your emotional life? That's not clear either. You just watch this and move on. These are actually the most important things anyway. Your rising sign, your moon sign, the reactions you need to give, what you will do with your energy, and the process that will unfold ahead of you. You will combine all three and act accordingly. Now, let's get started. Let's begin after making this warning. So, what will happen in the lives of Aries signs next week? According to the language of tarot, what kind of flow will take place? If you're ready, let me get ready too. Friends whose sun sign and rising sign are Aries, let's see what kind of flow awaits you in your business life next week. Aries career life 1, Aries career life 2, and Aries K career life 3. Now, we've got what we call the sun sign is the incoming flow. The emotional life is the moon sign. Now we're moving on to that. Aries emotional life 1, Aries emotional life 2, and Aries emotional life 3. Now, with the 3 cards above and the 3 cards below, the 3 cards above are the sun, the 3 cards below are the moon. The way all of them flow is determined by the rising sign. The way all of them flow is the rising sign. The story that emerges is the rising sign. The top is the sun, the bottom is the moon. And the story that emerges is the rising sign. You need to follow it accordingly. For Aries signs next week, logically speaking, the 5 of Swords says that if you don't want to experience a loss in your values, in your business life, you need to put an end to certain things logically. I don't want this. I want this. Anything you're afraid to express for fear of losing, you can consider as a loss because it's slipping away from you. I don't want it. You're not saying, I want it this way. You're just afraid of losing, but you don't speak up. You will experience a loss because competition is at its peak. Exactly. When we get to the middle of the week, what you wanted comes to you. You will shape it. The tarot says, stop, wait. First, wait for the situation to take shape in front of you. What appears may not be as it seems. That's why you should first retreat into your inner world and ask yourself, what do I really want to do? I said it like this. I didn't lose this. But what do I really want to do with this? The Hanged Man says, withdraw into yourself and analyze whether what you want is truly right. Let the flow pass during that time. When the perspective shifts, when you return and look at it from a completely different angle, and see something entirely new, you'll say, ah, it's a good thing I was going to do this, but I didn't. Now I can do this instead. And that would be amazing. And the end of the week, at the end of the week, you'll see that what you truly want actually happens with these things. But it won't happen here. In this case, the Six of Swords says either you go on a journey and bring back what you want to do from that journey. You say, first I need to clear my head, so I'm going to go. On the way, you encounter other opportunities, or you look at the situation from a completely different perspective. When you return, you might do something completely different. Or you made a decision about something, but the environment isn't suitable. In this case, you might also need to leave that environment, dear Aries. That's why, in the coming week, it's important not to make unnecessary sacrifices, and to be careful not to do so. That's it. Your moon sign, your emotional life says, oh, the star card. Spiritual matrix, the strength card. Physical matrix, the tangible world. The spiritual matrix says that you are reaching a point of fulfillment in your emotional life. You receive the emotion and reach a point of satisfaction. Right at the beginning of the week, there is a process there that is up and down, turbulent. So it means you are reaching a point of fulfillment. Here, the major arcana has to step in. It says you are heading towards making fundamental decisions. Be careful. This would also bring certain responsibilities along with it. Are you ready to take on these responsibilities? Are you ready to make these fundamental decisions in your emotional life? Mayday. Mayday. Because it's up and down. Why? Because at the same time, you're not defining it. When you do define it, the situation leads to making fundamental decisions. But for that, you first need to wait for the flow to pass. Maybe, you need to completely leave your current position. What you want might not be there. That's a possibility. Or you might need to change everything from the beginning. The final card will answer this. The final card says, Achtung, attention. What happened? Absolutely do not. Don't let either yourself or anyone else corner you mentally or logically. Otherwise, you'll end up making decisions you don't want to make. You'll make decisions you don't want to make. Then you'll take on responsibilities you shouldn't have to bear. You will take on responsibilities, but you need to do so with an objective perspective, dear Aries, in the coming week. That's why you need to pay attention. You look to the upcoming week. Dear friends, whose sun sign or rising sign is Aries. Now let's move on to Taurus signs. What's the situation on that for Taurus signs? What's going on? We'll take a look now. Taurus sign, career life, part 1. That is your sun sign. Taurus sign, career life, part 2, and Taurus sign, career life, part 3. Taurus sign, emotional life, part 1. In other words, this means your moon sign. Taurus sign, emotional life, part 2. And Taurus sign, emotional life, part 3. Have you fully grasped the whole topic so far? I'm going to head somewhere with this. I will do it. That's exactly what I was talking about. The direction in which the flow is going in your rising sign. In Aries, these are the decisions you need to make with emotion, even though logic is clear. And the direction of the flow may mean you have to leave your current position. Mayday. Mayday. That's exactly what's happening in your rising sign. Taurus sign, career life. This week, be careful not to make emotional decisions in your business life. That's the sun area. 5 of Cups. What you need to do is to draw from your previous business and logical experiences from the mistakes you've made. You did something and it didn't work out. So store that in your memory. It means next time don't do the same thing in the same situation. Change it. Change it. Use your creativity and don't act with prejudice. It will be the same in the past period anyway. Don't get into that mindset, man. Exactly. When you get into that mindset in the middle of the week and think, I can fix all of these at once. Stop. and stop. Because if you try to tackle everything at once, you won't be able to foresee what's ahead. And if you can't foresee what's ahead, your logic will be overridden. So, all the cards will fall. Everything will start to fall apart. And when everything starts to fall apart, by the end of the week, you'll be knocked out, dear Taurus. Because you are a fixed sign. You'll be knocked out. You'll reach a point where you can't carry the load anymore. Let everyone take the responsibility they're supposed to take themselves. Don't take on responsibility on behalf of anyone else. In other words, don't try to cover up anyone else's shortcomings. Mayday. Mayday. So, at the end of the week, the sun sign says, let go of what's weighing you down and choose to find a compromise with the people you need to share responsibilities with. Did you get that? All right, from now on, we'll do this together, okay? Because that responsibility was on me before. So, it was actually your responsibility. It was on me. Now I'm giving it to you. We'll do this as we go along, all right? Compromise. If necessary, you can also choose an alternative path for yourself, because you'll be giving it to someone else outside of your usual routine, and you'll still have to follow up on it. Achtung! The Lover's card. It is governed by the sign of Gemini. Logically, it says that you may need to create another routine outside of the routines you've already established. That also emerges when you distribute the responsibility. Now, let's move on to the emotional part. The emotional part says that the balance has to change. Why? Because you're carrying other people's burdens. The balance has to change. You need to make some decisions to throw off those burdens and get rid of them. To whom and which balance will you distribute? The Justice card. Your moon sign. Exactly. There is an imbalance there. All the way down to the person in your most private home, even in your relationship. Either the people in front of you are carrying a lot, but I don't think so. You are the one carrying a lot, not them. Let's look at your second moon card. The second moon card says, the path you're on is the right one. The path you're on is right. It's actually a very constructive point. The path you're on is right. Now, it's not wrong. It's just that you have too much burden on you. The direction is right. Look, this is rising. The direction is right. If you want to get better results in that direction, you need to change the balance. You need to change the balance. Those balances will wear you down. And in the end, you'll change the balances to reach a compromise. So, what does the bottom emotional card say? Final destination. But while doing this, don't be overly logical. It's already been said not to overdo it or drag things out. Don't overdo it. Don't be indecisive. Am I really on the right path? You are on the right path, my son. You'll see the finale up above anyway. When you start getting results from both sides, from both your emotional life and your business life, you'll say, finally. So if you're going to move towards something, if you're going to change a balance, you need to do it unconditionally and without hesitation. Not with doubts, Mr. Bora. Otherwise, it's going to blow up in one area, just so you know. And one day it will explode. Now let's move on to Gemini. Let's see how the process is for Gemini. You got it, right? The top is the sun, the bottom is the moon. Both are rising. Yes. For Gemini, career life is one thing, the sun sign. Gemini's career life 2, sun sign. Gemini's career life 3, sun sign. Gemini is a lunar sign with a unique emotional life. Gemini's emotional life 2, moon sign. Gemini is the emotional life of the zodiac sign, the moon sign. Let's see what it is and where the ascendant is heading. The number 1 card in your career life says that at the beginning of next week, some possibilities will present themselves to you. And you'll be wondering, could this really happen? Like, can I say, is it this one? Is it that one? About one of these possibilities? You absolutely can. 3 of Cups. Because these are possibilities that really appeal to you. Mayday, mayday. By the middle of the week, you can go full speed ahead with any of these possibilities. You can move forward. What are we basing this on? We're basing it on the Prince of Cups. With one, or even more than one of these possibilities, you can move forward. This fits you perfectly. You might even hear that click in the middle of the week. It comes, you grab it, and off you go. Wow, amazing. In fact, you too, come along, you too. Exactly, Gemini. At the end of the week, well, with the sun in your sign, everything happens at the end of the week. But now, there's something you need to pay attention to. You chose one or two of these possibilities, and one of them was left behind. As you move forward at the end of the week, you need to be careful. Don't let that possibility you left behind become a stumbling block or put obstacles in your way. You're heading towards a really nice sense of relief. But if it does trip you up, you'll be stopped in your tracks. That's why you need to be careful. Be mindful of the kind of dialogue you're having with whom. Mayday, 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 mayday. You might make a promise now and then forget about it. Or you might say, we'll definitely do it. Then you look at the next possibility and see that it's even better. You say, all right, skip that one. Let's go with this one. But you promised that. Or maybe you said okay, but then went with the other possibility. Man, this one is better than all the others. Then let me take these two and leave that one. But you made a promise. You made a promise. Bang! He came after you. You promised me. Well then, you shouldn't go either. Boom. Let's move on to your moon sign. Your moon sign says, aha! If you approach things without prejudice, new opportunities will open up for you. If you don't act with prejudice, and you don't have any inner distress. But if someone does upset you, first take a look and see, are you being prejudiced? Do you have a wrong rule here? Is there a taboo? Is there something in your mind that you need to overcome? Because none of us are perfect. Ah, the coffin. That prejudice, this is what bothered me. Why? That's the question. Why? Because of this. Didn't you want it to be this way? Yes, I did, but like this. Yes, in this case, you are being prejudiced. Bang. Aha! When you get to the middle of the week, that's when you should express it. My friend, I have issues with you. Because of this, and this. There are problems with you. Based on these issues, you need to improve yourself. Will you improve? No. Then I will continue on my way with someone else. Mayday, mayday! Because if you don't improve yourself, I won't keep drawing from my own reserves. Aha. Do you see? We handle both the top and the bottom together, so to speak. Final destination. Final destination. You need to act rationally and establish balance. Once you achieve that balance, you'll feel an incredible emotional relief, and your business cycle will speed up. And in this case, in the name of the power of shadows, Geminis just get swept away. But the moment you act with prejudice, bam! Everything comes crashing down all at once. For that reason, pay attention next week. Gemini. Come on. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Now let's move on to Cancer signs. The shadows, yaha, ha ha ha. Cancer zodiac sign. Career life 1, sun sign. Cancer sign, career life 2, sun sign. Cancer, Marilabla filmed in the middle. I opened it by mistake. So, Cancer sign 3, career life. There are good possibilities in the middle of the week, it seems. Let's move on to the moon sign, to the emotional cycle. Card number 1, card number 2, and card number 3. Let's see what this says logically for Cancer signs at the beginning of the week. Aha. Logically, at the beginning of the week. Since you haven't reached the middle of the week yet, you want to implement certain measures in your business life and increase some of your earnings because the flow is coming. But for that, you need to put something out there. Now, I want to earn more money. But the way to do that is not to push yourself obsessively or act like a sociopath at your current position. Spend less, spend less. We need to earn more. No, that's not the right logic. This is usually practiced in Turkey. It's taken from the worker, and the boss pockets it. That's not right. Invest more, and you'll get more in return. That way your employee becomes more productive, is satisfied, and gives you positive feedback. The rule in Turkey is, let me squeeze the worker as much as I can. Keep squeezing, pay the absolute minimum, even pay below the minimum wage, so that I can make more money for myself. That's the wrong cycle. The right cycle is to invest, make everyone happy, and then you'll see the returns. Don't worry. Once you invest, by the middle of the week, opportunities will already start to multiply. Oh, is that so? Turns out it really is. When you squeeze everyone, there's nothing left in the end. You'll become more aggressive too, and you won't get any joy or pleasure from life. Dear Cancer, next week, let's move on to the end of the week. The end of the week says, make sure you do your calculations well. And if necessary, ask those people or possibilities you've evaluated to take on some responsibility too. Let the field expand. You've invested, but the field remains the same. So there's an energy struggle going on. And it's not enough. You've put in effort, but it's still not enough. What do you need to do? Why don't you come over here, please? Now you need to take this responsibility from me. We are a team. Aha. The field will expand. If you try to handle everything yourself, you'll run out of energy and everything will collapse. Dear Cancer, you solve everything. Then you'll just end up, that's what will happen. So, your emotional life is telling you that. With the support you receive in your emotional life, you'll be able to start seeing ahead. 3 of Wands. Otherwise, you'll keep feeling tense. You need to accept the support you're going to receive. You'll both receive support and gain from the experience of that support. You have your own experiences too. In this case, it didn't turn out as bad as I expected, not like I thought it would. And why is that? Because you accepted the support. This is the area where Cancer struggles. Once you enter this cycle by the middle of the week, those balances will already start to shift. Those balances will already start to shift in your emotional life. After receiving support, you'll say, what a relief. I'm not doing everything by myself. This is already one of the biggest issues in relationships. If one side takes on everything and because of that, the other side doesn't let go of anything, if that happens, you'll have to move forward together, man. Decisions will have to be made jointly. Exactly. Decisions will be made together and desires will be expressed together. No one will be chasing after just one person's dream. No one will be ignored. This is the thing that happens most often. And what happens at the end of the week? Final destination, Lover's card. Well, because if you don't do your part, what's left above is 0. Its energy drops to 0 and you end up unable to live in it. In this situation, if necessary, you need to step outside of what you're used to. You know, there are those patterns in your mind. The man does this, the woman does that. The man does this to the woman does this. Why? Who made these rules? Those rules change from person to person. Not according to the person. I don't want this. I don't want what you've imposed on me or what society has imposed on me. This suits my character. Alternative, bam. Combine the two, then the Lover's card, boom. The never-ending energy is gone, period. Game over. Now let's move on to Leos. What does it say? Your essence, your central self. So many things fit, right? Sun, moon, rising sign. Now let's move on to Leos. Leo career life 1, Sun. Leo's career life 2, Sun, and Leo's career life 3, Sun. Leo's emotional life is 1, the moon. Leo is the moon sign with a 2-fold emotional life. And Leo's emotional life 3, moon sign. In your business life, that is, with the support you will receive as a sun element. Next week, you will start to foresee your path much more easily. Just make sure to accept that support and don't get into the mindset of, my way is the only right way I know best. Dear fixed Leo, don't get into that mindset, man. Exactly. When you get into that mindset, you lose sight of your path. Mayday, mayday. When you reach the middle of the week, if you want absolute victory, you have to cooperate. You have to accept the support that's coming your way. Otherwise, you won't be able to see ahead, and you won't be able to set the line for absolute victory. Or even if you set the line, you won't be able to reach it. It's impossible to reach it alone. This is the biggest handicap of Leos. I've been saying this for years. The biggest difference between Leo and Aries is that Aries always says we, while Leo says I. That's the biggest handicap. Once Leo overcomes that, there are no more problems. Anyway, Leo has something that Aries doesn't. The sun star behind. Yes. And if you manage to overcome that sense of self and ego, then you can truly enjoy it. Just like What does Final Destination say? Ricks. Take your level, and on top of that is take your risk. Bam. To your sun sign. At the end of the week, action. By the power of the shadows. What happened? I'm reaching the point I saw. Mayday, mayday. We're reaching that point. By the power of the shadows. Exactly. So my emotional life, emotional reactions are part of this. But within this, you need to make fundamental decisions next week. You need to take on responsibilities. Mayday, mayday. You've received that support. But it doesn't end with just receiving it. Exactly. It doesn't end with just receiving it. You will make fundamental decisions in your emotional life, in your love life. With those fundamental decisions, you will find relief in your emotional life, considering all possibilities. We can do this with you. We can do this. We can do this. We can do this. Well, I don't want to do this with you. Fine. I'll do it with someone else. Because there is more than one possibility, both in terms of paths and personal possibilities. It depends on which one you consider, on which decision you make. Depending on that decision, there will be a fundamental transformation. And whether that transformation happens depends on whether I raise the bar above. For that, you need to accept support and step out of your ego. You need to move towards we. This is the cycle of ascension. Well, there you go. I want this. Well, we can also do it this way. I might want that too. We can do it like this as well. I might want that. Look, this is your moon sign. But for this, I need to make some fundamental decisions. And are you subject to these decisions? Or do you have your own desires as well? Aha. By the end of the week, you will enter a waiting phase within your inner world. You took the risk, you took action, you took the risk. You will enter a waiting phase in your inner world. Everything will completely change, and after that, you will move forward into the next week under the influence of liberation, dear Leo. A tremendous rivalry. Now, let's move on to Virgo signs. Virgo's attention. Virgo career life sun. Virgo career life sun 2. Virgo career life 3. Virgo emotional life 1, emotional life 2, and emotional life 3. In your business life, it says that next week, dear Virgos, you need to act flexibly. If you want to make some concrete progress in your business life in terms of value, when you reach the middle of the week, you need to fully concentrate on those matters. Achtung! Did you concentrate on them, man? Did you concentrate on them? If you manage to be flexible and concentrate, by the end of the week, you'll reach the happy ending you want. If you act constructively, dear Virgo. Next week, in the name of the power of shadows, what does your moon sign say? Your moon sign says, look, do everything, but don't do this. You won't give up on the path you believe in. You won't give up on the path you believe in. When it comes to your emotional life, aha! If the tower collapses, you'll have to make sacrifices if necessary. You'll have to be willing to make sacrifices. This will help you grow. You also need to act flexibly so that the other person can grow as well. Achtung! Mental matrix. Spiritual matrix. This is your subconscious and yourself. If necessary, you will suffer some losses, but the outcome will be magnificent. Knight of Cups. And you need to act conciliatory about this. The result will be magnificent. By the power of the shadows, mayday, mayday. The week might be painful, but it will have a happy ending. If you can take the risk, dear Virgo, next week will be amazing. And you need to be flexible. Is that it? That's it, man. Go for it. Exactly. Thank you all very much. Friends, I'm Ozan Kirpe. See you in future broadcasts. For now, arrivederci, man. Take care.